Jason, when you look at that Panthers team, I mean, the Hurricanes got better with Ehlers and Keandre Miller. The Leafs are trying to get better. Whether they can, patch the hole that Marner left, 105 points, and their leading point getter over the last 9 years is up for debate in this town, and we'll debate it for many, many months to come. But do you see any sort of vulnerabilities with the Panthers? Like, or is this team just going to march to another Eastern Conference championship, another Cup final, and maybe a third straight Cup?
Not to quote A Knight's Tale, if you've seen that with Heath Ledger, but the only way to beat them is when they're sleeping with a stick in the middle of the night. So, it's one of those. It's one of those teams that I think injuries, if they're healthy, it's going to be very tough to beat them. And now, listen, I like what the Toronto Maple Leafs did this offseason. I think it was time to blow up that core four. I had said John Tavares needs to prove that he really wants to take a hometown discount. He did that. Nick is a great centerman, great depth centerman, and can play up and down the lineup. He's really good. So and they got their goaltending. That listen, if Stolarz doesn't get hurt, Toronto had the opportunity to beat the Panthers and take them down. And I think if Stolarz is healthy, I think it's they most likely do it. So just because I think they're the only team that really looked like they had their number. But for the Panthers, I mean, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be based on injuries. And we keep asking the question, how many games is too many for this team before they run out of gas? And it seemed like they got stronger as the playoffs went on. So I'm interested to see if there is a limit on this team and when they do finally kind of hit that wall, because you do need so much luck. Skill is such an important piece in winning a Stanley Cup, but luck is also equally as important, because you need to stave off injuries. You need to stave off, those bounces, and they just seem to have gotten it and seem to keep their energy levels up. So, for me, it's really going to be about how can you attack their depth and, really make sure that, they're not healthy going into the first, second, third round. So I think you got to play physical on them in the season just as much as you do in the playoffs.
So you bring up the fact that you like what the Maple Leafs did by blowing up that core. Mitch Marner, exit stage left, and they haven't really found a replacement for him yet. There's still tons of time before we get to training camp. But, if they don't find that replacement or they don't get a 100-point guy, which we don't expect to happen at this point, are they going to have to change the way that they go about things? Is this team going to look different without having such a dynamic player out there who plays 25 minutes a night for you?
For sure, there's going to be an adjustment, and you're going to have guys that step up. But I do think that they have four solid lines, and I think that they have a really good decor and goaltending. And you look at Craig Berube and the style he's implemented. They're just going to have to continue to get even tighter defensively and play that hard-nosed system. And I think guys will buy in. And listen, you can win a cup without having 100-point goal scorers. It's been done. It's possible. And this is just a team that's going to have to figure out a way to kind of do that. And, I think, Treliving's been really good and really active, and I could see them. I know they have enough right now to get themselves to at least the trade deadline or at least Christmas with a solid record. And I think from there, you look at a team that might be looking to sell, and you can make a move and bolster your lineup kind of down the stretch. So I feel like that should be the way and the method that the Toronto Maple Leafs should be looking to implement this season. And I think it's a possibility that it can work for sure.